Okay, hey everybody, my name is Sarah.
And I'm Geraldine.
And welcome to today's episode of Snack Bar. I lost count. What number are we at?
I don't know either. We need a tagline for this show.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll think about it. Okay. What are we going to... Yeah, we're going to talk about the movies that we have watched this week. Well, Geraldine was binge watching Breaking Bad. I went to watch Legend, which we were supposed... we said we were supposed to watch it, but I guess Jerry was too busy. But anyways, yeah. Legend was not the best movie.
No one expected it to be.
The theater was pretty empty,
yeah.
yeah, except for a few British people here and there, like really, like they were Angmos. But
that's interesting. Where do you watch it?
I watched it at Great Wall.
Well, okay, of course, no one goes there, but okay.
Yeah, it was really empty for a weekend. I was shocked. But yeah, so it was pretty empty. I don't think it got a lot of marketing here in Singapore, so not many people know about the movie either. So I guess you can say storytelling was pretty.
Oh, what's the movie
choppy.
about? Like.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Sorry, you need the gist of the movie. Basically the Crays, Ronald and Reginald Cray, they are both gangsters. They kind of ruled London, the underground of London, for a pretty long period of time in the 60s. And yeah, so Ronald's the crazy one. He's schizophrenic with slight personality disorder, I think. And he's very much gay. Reginald, he is the smarter one. He's the businessman. He owns clubs and bars. Yeah, so the whole idea, the whole business plan wasn't really touched on in depth in the movie. It was a more relationship based movie.
Actually, that sounds really awesome. I love relationship in movies.
Yeah, but the way it was told, it was a bit choppy. It wasn't very clearly put across whether they were touching on the relationship between Reginald Cray and the girl or Reginald Cray and Ronald Cray. It kind of went back and forth. It kind of annoyed me at certain parts, but it was an interesting story, I guess.
So it's just like another unnecessary love story in Hollywood again.
No, this love story actually played a big part because this love story affected the brothers' relationship in a way. There was this whole love-hate thing between Ronald Cray and the girl. But yeah, so there was love-hate thing between Ronald and this girl. Love-hate as in Ronald liked her, but then she was kind of taking Reginald away from him, stuff like that. Yeah, so it was a good movie. It was interesting. But it felt like, what's her name? Frances. Yes, her name was Frances. Frances and Ronald had a weird relationship, and with Reginald, she wanted Reginald to go straight, but that didn't work. Well, yeah, he loved being a gangster.
Okay, so like good things obviously is probably Tom Hardy's performance. Did you like? Was it as good as you thought it would be?
It was good.
Like,
it was as good as we thought it would be. Yeah, I mean, he was charming as Reginald. He was crazy as Ronald. Actually, the surprising performance was him as Ronald Cray. I didn't expect Ronald Cray to be as crazy as he was, and he was batshit crazy, like really batshit. It was scary at certain times. And there's a period of time that Reginald became crazy as well. So, he played both roles really, really well. Yeah, it was really good. The performance was fantastic.
I have no idea whether I'll watch in the theaters this one. I don't think I have time because like next week it's like Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And then the following week it's like all the crazy good movies are coming out. So I'm not sure myself. I do want to look forward to it though. Convince me to watch it. Or convince me not to watch it in theaters. And just rent it online.
I would say rent it with subtitles.
Subtitles?
Yeah, okay. The reason why I say that is because the accent is really strong. Okay, basically the Crays are from East End of London, and the East End is is the poorer part of London, and they have a really strong accent, like so strong that I couldn't really catch some bits. It would be good if you had English subtitles. You'd probably be able to catch more than if you just watched it with Chinese subtitles.
Okay, so Legend, maybe watch it. I don't know. Watch it for Tom Hardy's performance.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's performance.
I'm kind of glad that we didn't review this because by the sound of it, you don't really have much to say about this movie.
It wasn't the best movie. It had notes of Black Mass. Black Mass was a good movie. It just that it felt choppy. Same thing here. It's really choppy. It had notes of it. You know, gangsters from poor neighborhood. They really loved them. And they made it big. And yeah, so I mean, there was supposed to be like a whole part where the cops are after them, but that part was totally thrown aside. And I don't know. It could have been a really good movie. I guess when it comes to gangster movies and when it comes to true life stories of, because this was based on a true story, you know, when you have gangster stories like that, it's too long of a timeline to have in one movie. I think that's the problem with these movies. It's too long, so it ends up feeling really choppy, and it has so much potential, but it's just not there.
Okay, so that's the only thing that we watched, like movie-wise. Sorry, because I just got the Breaking Bad Blu-ray, so I was binge watching that instead, and I was busy with work as well. On to our topic this week, which is young adult book adaptation film things.
Yeah,
film adaptations.
This is in lieu of next week where we have Hunger Games.
Mockingjay Part 2, the last one. So let's move on to that. Okay, so when we're talking about young adult films, film adaptations, we're not going to talk about those that didn't work out. So it's like Mortal Kombat, which did terribly.
Not Mortal Kombat.
Oh, sorry.
Mortal Instruments.
Right, Mortal Instruments.
Which I watched.
I watched too.
Because the trailer looked interesting. I thought it was gonna have a good kind of. I thought it might have worked out. It was a laughable movie. Oh my god.
It wasn't laughable. It was just terrible.
No, I laughed. I ended up coming up.
We're not supposed to be talking about this.
Sorry, it was.
It was terrible. Don't watch
Okay.
it. Then there was Beautiful Creatures, which I kind of liked.
Okay, I read the book for Beautiful Creatures.
I read it. It was terrible.
Hated it.
It was a terrible
I
book.
watched the movie.
It was so much better.
I didn't like it.
It was so much better than the book. I watched the movie before I read the book, so
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I don't know why I read like young adult novels when they're terrible. I Am Number 4.
I didn't even bother.
No, me neither. Okay, so like those kind of things, we're not gonna talk about them because who cares? I mean, like good for those people who made those movies because it's hard to make a movie, but those are not good movies. So we're gonna talk about the 5 main ones. Main, as in there's only 3 main ones, but we'll just put in the other 2. We have Divergent, Maze Runner, Twilight, Hunger Games, and Harry Potter. So we're gonna talk about Divergent first, which I didn't watch, I didn't read. Do you like it?
Okay,
Divergent.
I didn't read the Divergent series. I watched the 2 movies that are out so far. I liked the first one. I liked the concept. I liked the whole mythology behind it. It was really good. I liked, you know, the splitting into the different groups, you know, the very complicated names that I still don't get.
Terrible names.
Yeah, terrible names. I liked the entire concept until the second movie. It was a repetition of the first movie. I didn't like it at all. And
okay, I haven't watched the movie yet, but if there's anything I want to praise the movie for is that I really like the main character's haircut in the second film. It looked really awesome.
Yeah. I actually praised her for it. Actually, she they did give her Shailene Woodley was given a choice whether she wanted to wear a wig over her short hair because she just filmed Fault in Our Stars in that period of time. So she had short hair and then she said no, I want to keep it because
looks awesome.
Yeah, because she felt
badass.
that it felt like that character, like Triss, that's a character. But I just didn't like it. The flow of the story is so bad. I mean, it has it's very similar to Maze Runner, where they're put in this situation and there are people on the outside who are watching them to see if they can survive, yada yada yada. And yeah, so I the problem is Maze Runner, at least Maze Runner, which we'll go into more detail later. You know, they got out of the maze within the first movie. They took 2 movies to realize they were in a maze. They realized they were in a simulation after 2 movies. It was just I was like, what the hell? It took so long. And the second movie just went totally off from the first movie, which I thought had a lot of potential.
You know what pisses me off about the Divergent series is that they have so many good actors in there. They have Shailene Woodley. They have the guy from
Ansel Elgort.
Ansel, yeah. They have Miles Teller. All those super talented actors, and I feel like they're so much better than the film that they're in. And I guess it's obviously they're only doing it for the cash, I guess. You think they are? Because they weren't that popular, because Shailene Woodley only became she only became famous because of The Fault in Our Stars, I guess. And like Divergent was just a jumping point, like a what's that one called? It's just for her, like, just to start her career in Hollywood in a mainstream kind of way.
That's possible.
But I feel like these actors are way too good to be in a film like Divergent.
Yeah, I mean the performances in the film is great. There's no complaints there. It's just the story is so bad. I mean, I'm a person that looks when I watch a movie, I look into the story a lot, and the story was just so bad. I hated it.
You know what we should do? Like, because I feel like a lot of young adult adaptations, they have this kind of like these kind of criteria that they need to tick off of. So let's see. Do they have a love triangle? Yes or no?
There's no love triangle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprising.
It's a dystopian future.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What else is in, like...
Oh,
there's always a revolution at the end, but then we don't know.
This is complicated. I don't know. From the trailer,
it sounds like there's a revolution.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have one.
Yeah.
Alright, so on to Maze Runner. I actually like this series a lot.
I like Maze Runner.
I mean, I hate the books.
I have not read them.
I read the books. I read the second one. I got really bored, so I just stopped.
I actually I went into looking up the differences between the books and the movies. There's a lot of differences. And I also I read like synopsis of the books and stuff like that. And there's a lot of differences, but I realized I probably won't enjoy the book.
You know what? Maze Runner, and I'm sorry to say this, but Maze Runner has better the second film. What's it called? Scotch Trials. Scotch Trials has better action scenes than Spectre. I'm just saying, it's true.
Yeah,
like the action set pieces are so much better, and like there's adrenaline like pumping every. Yeah. I really like Maze Runner because of the cast. Like, the 3 main guys. The reason why
I think I would not like the books is because the girl has a pretty big role in the books, right? I forgot what's the girl's name, but apparently in the book she can communicate telepathically with Thomas. And that's definitely not in the movies. And I thank God those aren't in the movies.
It's so terrible. It's like that's what makes a young adult novel so terrible.
Exactly. I mean, I like that there is this sort of relationship between the girl and Thomas, but it isn't like blown up into proportions like any of the other young adult franchises. It's just
Teresa, isn't he?
Right, Thomas and Teresa. So it's not blown out of proportion. It's obvious that they like each other, kinda, but there isn't really a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Brotherhood. Yeah, I think like the main thing about
it's a bromance movie. I love that it's a bromance movie.
Yeah, I love any movie that's about friendship over romance. Yeah. And they changed her role in the second movie. I won't tell you what happens in the end of the second movie, but they changed it.
I watched the second movie.
Yeah, but we can't tell it to the viewers.
Right.
Or whatever you guys call it, listeners. Yeah, so I didn't like her role in the second movie, but I rather she just not be there. I'm sorry. I don't like girl characters who are just there to be the love interest. Is it really political to say that?
Actually, I think it probably gave her more character.
Yeah, no, she has more character in this than she does in the book.
Yeah, exactly. She has more character in this movie than she had in the first movie.
And she's not wrong, as in her. You get why she does the thing that she does in the second film, but honestly, it's still kind of stupid.
Yeah, the good thing about Maze Runner is that you are conflicted on both ends, because you know where Thomas and the other boys are coming from. You know their struggles, but you also know that the other side of the story, what's that name? Wicked.
Yeah, Wicked.
Which is such a horrible
Terrible name.
I mean, come on.
Wicked is good.
Yeah, but anyways, Wicked.
It's not a horrible name if you're the musical Wicked, but it's a terrible name if you're a young adult novel Wicked.
And it's not even WICKED. It's WCKD.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyways, so I mean, I mean, if you look from the standpoint of Wicked, they have a point as well. So I like that conflict. I like the conflict of
that
good
was
and bad.
the conflict. I mean, maybe there was a conflict at the end of the movie. Sorry, at the end of the book.
Of the
but
book,
I liked what happened. Even though I think the second movie dragged on a little bit too. We are talking a lot about the second movie. What about the first movie? But I like the second movie a lot.
No, the first movie was obviously a setup.
Yeah. I enjoyed the first movie
the first
because it was
movie.
all about the relationship.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first movie until the end, because the end was just like, oh my god, it's like it's putting them through the same. I felt like they're just throwing them into the same problem as the first movie. But then watching the second movie, you realize it's similar problem, but a bit more expanded. Yeah. So and I really liked how the transition between the first movie and the second movie. If you watch them back to back, it's exactly
the same tone.
It's the same tone, and it's just one movie. A lot of times when movies go into sequels, they start off like 6 months later, or you know, the kind of thing, and I really hate it, because then you know, you start from a different place, and I just don't like it. But the second movie started perfectly.
It's basically what Back to the Future 2 is to Back to the Future.
Yeah, it starts off exactly from the end of the first movie, so if you watch it together, it fits. However, I have to say, the second movie, if you watch it alone, you may not be able to get what's going on.
I don't think you get it at all.
Yeah, so you need to watch the second. You need to
And
watch the
I
first
think
movie.
the first movie is when you fall in love with the characters. And okay, who's your favorite? Thomas, Minho, or Newt? I like Newt the most because he's played by Thomas Sangster.
Nah, I love Minho.
Yeah, everyone loves Minho.
Yeah, I love him not so
I love
much
their
as the
bromance.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
bromance
like
is
the actors'
fantastic.
chemistry.
I love the chemistry between them. And what's Minho's character's name? Ki Hong Lee. Lee Ki Hong.
Oh, the actor. Hang on, let me check. Continue talking.
Yeah, but yeah, so the actor actually he started really small in like little productions. He was in a lot of Wong Fu production things. So when you Ki Hong Lee, he started a lot of small productions. He started a lot with Wong Fu productions in US, and because I love Wong Fu productions, I watch everything they produce, and because of that, when I saw him on the big screen, I was like, oh my god, he finally made it.
Yeah.
So I'm a big supporter of that.
I honestly I hoped Maze Runner would do well because I love the cast. And I think the cast is what makes the movie. And also because really the action scenes are good. Yeah, they may not be the most creative one, especially one of them that looks like a Left 4 Dead cutscene. But the one in the mall in the second movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's still a very entertaining film. And you know, I watch films to be touched, but if I'm entertained by the movie, then I'm totally fine by it.
It was a type of movie that you were on the edge of your seat like most of the time.
Yeah.
There was never really a rest period. It was really good,
and
I really like.
There's like one particular dark scene in the film. The one that has to do with the gunshot. If you know what I'm talking about, in the desert.
Oh yeah,
that was really dark. It was really sad, but
it was
very interesting.
Yeah, and it was I think it was a realization for the characters as well. It's like you were kind of like brought in with the characters, like that they are not immune. In that sense.
Are you looking forward to the third film? I honestly am.
Yeah, I am.
I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. I think it's like veered off way too far from the book to like come back. Anyway,
you know what? Screw the book.
Screw the book. Okay, thank you, book, for making this, like, giving them an idea for a movie.
But I like it. I like that the movie took its own liberties. Yeah, and I like that it became its own movie.
Well, we'll talk about what a good adaptation is, as opposed to a faithful adaptation.
However, people who like the books will not like the movie. That's all I have to say. Because when you read a book and you are so absorbed into the book, and then you realize from the movie that it's not what it is, and then you know you kind of go haywire.
It's not even a good book.
I've not read the book, so I don't know.
Okay, so next we have Hunger Games. It was a craze when we were in secondary school.
Oh god,
I remember in, during O levels, which is like this entrance exam to like JC or poly, which is like a higher level education. Instead of during my free time, and by free I mean I didn't want to study time, I would just be reading the Hunger Games just to like relax.
Yeah.
And I really loved the first book, but I hated the second and third book because they were kind of lame.
Okay, I like all three. I just didn't like the ending.
It's really sad, the ending.
Yeah, the ending didn't have a closure. So you know, at the end of the book, me and one of my girlfriends, we were like, oh my god, I feel so useless in life. Like what's the meaning of life? You just had that drained feeling. It wasn't
really
a good
sad.
feeling, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so hesitant. I was so hesitant going into Mockingjay Part 1.
Yeah, that's why
because that's what the book did.
I'm kind of scared to watch the
second
last
one.
film.
Yeah, same, because
I don't want that shitty feeling.
okay, this is one of the times that I really like the book, but I really want the movie to do its own thing.
It won't.
It probably won't, because it's followed the book so much so far.
To the credit of the book, it does take war seriously and it doesn't sugarcoat it.
It's a political
a little bit.
book.
It doesn't sugarcoat it
Yeah.
too much.
I really like the book because for a YA for a young adult franchise, for once it's not. I mean, yeah, you still have the post-apocalyptic thing. You have the love triangle, fine. You have you know, the usual notes, but it had a very political politically wise, it's very strong.
I feel like all the 5 films we're gonna talk about all have politics involved, but this is like the most political out of all of them.
It's very much relatable, I guess you can say. I don't know, I find it's pretty relatable politically. You always have the dictator, and then you have the oppressed.
Yeah, there's
and
always
stuff
a
like
dictator.
That. There's always this type of thing. But it was really very strong in the Hunger Games, and you actually felt that from the books and from the movies.
So I've only watched like the first 2 films. I refuse to watch Mockingjay Part 1 until Part 2 is coming out.
Right.
And it's coming out and I haven't watched it yet, so I should watch
Right.
it like by this Thursday because that's when I'm gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really like the first Hunger Games. How about you? I thought it was too shaky. Like okay, I'm gonna complain about Peter Malak. Do you like him as a character? Even in the book I hated him, but I feel like I hated him more in the movies because he's even more useless.
He is useless.
I get that he's like, oh, he's the light.
He's the damsel in distress.
He is. Like, he's the light. I hate damsels in distress, but okay. He's the light to like Katniss. I get that. But it's like, could you at least make him a lot more, you know, useful, I guess?
I'm okay with his character. I'm okay with all the characters.
Who's the actor that plays him?
Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah, I liked Josh Hutcherson until I saw him as Peter, and it's not his fault. It's just that's such a bland, it's such a bland character.
Yeah, until the third book.
Peter?
Until like the third book, and then he is
a damsel in the third book too.
He is, but he becomes the. I don't know. I find he becomes the reason why Katniss is doing what she's doing.
I thought it was Prim.
No, that was the end of the book.
Okay, so yeah. So I don't like Peter. I think Gil is. I like Gil, but that's because he sounds hot, and like he's played by Thor's brother.
I don't like Gil. I don't like him.
But like as a character, I think Katniss is a good character. I'm not sure. Like I'm always so confused.
I always okay. There was a period of time where they were comparing Twilight with the Hunger Games.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Twilight is
the
crap. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I love Twilight, but
wait, what? Okay, sorry, go on.
Okay, but anyways,
what?
When I compared the two, the reason why I like Hunger Games so much is because the story is amazing. The characters, honestly, the characters are so just really dull. Because all the characters carry the same note through the 3 books. There isn't really an arc.
Katniss is just like
yeah, so that one is just the characters don't matter much to me. Hunger Games was really more story based. Twilight, on the other hand, Twilight's story was, oh my god. But I really like certain characters, so the characters carried the why I like Twilight. So there is that difference. So if you're really talking about Hunger Games characters, I don't have much to say. The story is really good. So I think that's why the movie is probably a lot more well received. Anyways, yeah, so Hunger Games. Okay, I really don't know what to say at this point because Jerry's lowering the blinds of the.
Sorry, the sun was getting into my eyes.
Okay, anyways, Hunger Games. So
Oh yeah,
anything
so
else?
Hunger Games. My view on it is that Hunger Games, it has a good story, but it's too damn sad for me. And by the time I got to the third book, I felt really sad. So I decided to just stop reading for a while. Like in general, because I was too sad and I was recovering from the Hunger Games. And I was really excited for the first film. And I was really disappointed by it. But then I watched
It got better.
yeah. Then I watched the second film, and I didn't really have hopes for it because I was like, oh, the first film kind of sucked, and like, oh, they made everything so watered down, and like, there's not enough blood for me. And
PG-13.
it was PG-13, and it shouldn't have been, but I guess whatever. So, when was I? Oh yeah, so Catching Fire came, and that was a damn entertaining film with a great message behind it, and the action was great. I think I started really liking Katniss from that because I didn't really like her in the books, but you know, you kind of see how evil President Snow is, and you're just like, oh, what a vile creature. And I think that's what Catching Fire did so damn well.
Yeah, I was looking.
It was
forward to Catching
a
Fire.
way better adaptation. It was a way better story than that book that got the. It was way better than the book, basically.
Yeah, I really like Catching Fire because I was looking forward to it mainly because of the clock, the whole the 75th Hunger Games, and then you have the concept of the Hunger Games that year was the most intriguing thing that happened in the book, honestly, to me. And I couldn't wait for it to be on screen because I mean the concept's amazing. Who would have thought of
Good
of
job,
a
Susan
clock?
Collin.
Yeah, it was really good. Characters wise, this is where you have the introduction of Finnick, Odin. You have the introduction of a lot of other characters from the different districts, the main characters that will be popping out in Mockingjay. And these characters, honestly, for me, they're probably more interesting than main characters at certain points. Finnick has so much character, has so much flair. I mean, I fell in love with Finnick, basically. I really like and Catching Fire actually highlighted, because Catching Fire went back into the other Hunger Games, the other victors, and how they won. And then you realize how affected these people are after the Hunger Games. You couldn't feel that in the first Hunger Games because that's when you're first introduced into Hunger Games. But then when you come to the second movie, you realize that the amount of effect these games have on the victors, it's
Yeah, that was really cool. Like the
It was
psychological, like
the psychological part of it.
yeah, like how in the second movie they were talking about how even if they won and the capital gave them like money and all that kind of stuff, they took away every single thing.
Yeah.
Like Woody Harrelson's character, like he had a family and he had a wife or a girlfriend, and like the capital took that away from him because he's the winner and they have to represent the capital.
Yeah, so it became
The effect that Katniss had after she broke the rules in the Hunger Games in the first one, I love seeing that happen. That's the kind of political thing that just makes the whole reason why Hunger Games is so popular, and deservedly so, is because of how much deeper it is than the normal young adult franchise.
Yeah, and honestly, it came to a point that you start to think that maybe it could have been better if some of these people died in the Hunger Games, because then they wouldn't be suffering as much as they are. I mean, you look at what's that character? I think her name is Meg, the old lady in Catching Fire. And recently they just produced a throwback poster of her as a young victor. I mean, supposedly the Capitol threw it out, but it's a marketing scheme. Duh. And then you just brought back to the moment where she sacrificed herself, and it's just, Oh my god, I can't. It was so sad. I loved it so much. But yeah, Hunger Games is really good. I think one of my favorite franchises ever. It's just that I never want to reread the books.
Yeah, it's really sad. I just reread the last part of the book
No, oh
the other
my
day,
god,
and I was just
no.
like, why did I do that?
Yeah,
Okay, but
it's one of those books I never want to revisit.
so you watched Mockingjay Part 1?
Yes,
Was it
I
good?
did.
I heard it was kind of boring.
Because I mean,
It's the first part,
like,
right?
It's like Harry Potter. It's like Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Hey, I liked Deathly
I know.
Hallows Part 1.
I know. I liked it too. It's just that there were people who
Ron
hated
and
on
Hermione forever.
I know. Okay. So people hated on it because it was kind of dull. There wasn't much action. Same thing. Because these movies. I mean that they're starting to like split all these movies into two. The first one, you have to know it's gonna be an introduction. It's not gonna be much to expect. So I went in not expecting much, and I ended up really enjoying it because you see.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, you see a lot more of what's going on and what's the plan, and you know, that kind of thing.
I
So-
love the song that she sings. The
Hanging
Hanging Tree. Yeah, that was an awesome song. I kept listening to it during school.
Oh my god, it's so depressing.
Are you coming to? Okay.
Yeah. but
Alright,
it was-
so
it was like-
I like the I'm not a fan of the Hunger Games franchise, but I like that it's a smarter young adult movie franchise.
Yeah, although I have to say, even though people say it's a good story, kudos to Suzanne Collins. The reason why the ending had not much closure, according to my friend, is because Suzanne Collins just didn't have the inspiration. That was her reason.
Oh, for me the inspiration was she just
gave up.
she doesn't want a closure because there's no closure to the war. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
that's the way I interpreted it, and I hate it because it's kind of true. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is Twilight. The other one we're gonna do is Harry Potter, but we're not gonna touch on Harry Potter that much because I probably want to do that when Fantastic Beasts comes out, and you know, if this thing actually lasts that long, hopefully it does. It's only coming out next year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll last that long. So we're gonna talk about Twilight.
I like Twilight.
Alright.
Okay.
You know why I started reading Twilight?
Because everybody was reading it.
No, because I saw the back part of the book and it said better than Harry Potter. And I was going through the Harry
it's not,
Potter
it's
like
not, it's
post Harry Potter stage, and I was just thinking, oh my gosh, finally there's another there's another Harry Potter franchise. I'm pretty sure there are better books out there besides Harry Potter, but you know, one that I can just read and fall in love with the characters with. And I read the first one and I had that herd mentality where, oh, it's a good book. And then I read the second one, I'm just like, okay, it's kind of stupid. And I read the third one, I'm just like, no, okay, this series is terrible.
Yeah, I don't like the middle two books. To me, the middle two books were just extra. I like the first one. I like the last one. Mainly because the last one, the characters are already set up. You have more interesting characters, and it was interesting. I really like Twilight. I really like the Twilight franchise because, like I said, I like the characters. I don't like Bella. I don't like Edward. I like everybody else but.
You know who I love in the Twilight franchise? I love what's his name? The guy who plays Edward. Robert Pattinson. I love him because have you seen this Tumblr page called Robert Pattinson Hates Twilight?
No.
It's just full of him just shitting on Twilight, and it's the funniest thing ever. And he just laughs at his own like Twilight jokes.
Yeah, I didn't like the movies. I'm not a fan of the movies.
I actually like the second part.
Even though I watched all of the movies.
I think the second part is hilarious and intentionally so. Like they knew what they were going for already.
Yeah, but I really like the last book and the last movie.
Yeah, I love the last movie actually.
I love the last movie.
Because it's so bad but it's so good.
Yeah, I really like the characters. The characters coming together basically, and then you have the mixed blood child come to screen. Okay, it's laughable, but I really like the concept. Okay, I am a sucker for vampires. I love vampires.
Those are not vampires, man. The things that you see in Twilight.
Okay. The reason why I like them, the very concept of vampires, I consider them vampires. Not the traditional vampires, but I still like the traditional vampires, but I just like the evolution that some people have media-wise to vampires, because if you watch any vampires in the media, you have the different takes of vampires, and this was one of the more radical one that has come out so far. And I really like the new concept about it. And at that period of time when I read the books, I was a sucker for love stories as well. So this was one of those love stories. And yeah, so I really like the story at first, and then it just went downhill, and then it went up again when you have the big war between the Volturi and everybody else, basically.
I'm gonna just talk about the last movie, because I actually enjoyed that one. I watched like Twilight, the first one. It was very blue, and I remember being really bored. And then I watched, what's the second one called? New Moon. Oh, do you know what happened at the end of New Moon? I think like Edward asked him to get married, asked Bella to get married to him, and then that's where the movie closes. So what happened after that? I think Wan Yu was with me. And she freaking left me she wanted to watch that film. I didn't want to watch it because I realized I hated the Twilight franchise by then.
Right.
So she watched it. I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch it with you. And then when that happened, she had to leave for tuition. So I was then in the theater alone watching this terrible movie. And after that, Edward proposed to Bella, and these bunch of guys at the back, they were like, what? And then one of them like threw a cup at the screen. I'm just like, is that even legal here in Singapore or whatever? It was, I think for that reason, that was worth my price ticket. Even though, oh my god, that was like 2 hours of my life I couldn't take back.
Yeah,
it was a terrible film.
Yeah, honestly, if you ask me, I don't really remember New Moon and Eclipse, the movies.
I didn't watch Eclipse.
Okay, I roughly remember Eclipse. Because it had a pretty okay villain. I didn't like New Moon. I'm sorry. I like the werewolves. I do. I love werewolves as well. But I don't know. New Moon was just bleh.
I'm really glad that you like Twilight, because if anything, I don't want this to become like a hate fest, because I hate Twilight. So it's good to have like a balance. But there's nothing redeemable about this entire franchise to me, because Bella's a terrible character and she's a terrible role model for young girls. And Edward is just a stalker, and it's gross and it's weird that, you know, your boyfriend is watching you sleep, and just the baby at the end, and how
I like the baby
and how the werewolf fell in love with her.
That was creepy. I didn't like Jacob imprinting on Renesmee. I still have a problem pronouncing her name.
Okay, there's one part in part 2 there was like, I think it was in the book, but what does he call? He calls the daughter Nessie.
Oh yeah,
and then
Monster.
and then she got so angry
and then
about.
Bella got pissed, and then
it's like, you named my daughter after the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah. That was good.
I laughed so hard in theaters.
I like the last book because of that. Actually, I like the last book because they ultimately come to a truce. Edward and Jacob come to a truce. It's creepy.
Oh, by the way, the fight scene at the end of part 2 was really good, even if it turned out to be fake. But it was so good.
It was so good. It
so
blew
brutal.
my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, this is a PG-13 movie. But yeah, so that part wasn't in the books, which it should have been, because it was amazing.
I think this is what the producers were trying to like. Yeah, you see, this is how you can make a good, better third act.
Yeah,
yes.
and to me, that tuned up Alice's role in the entire franchise. Because Alice is toned down quite a bit here and there in the movies. Not in the movies, in the books sometimes. And I really love her. I really love Jasper. I really love Alice. I really love everybody else in the movie except for Bella and Edward.
I love Edward in the movies because of Robert Pattinson. Yeah. Because you can tell that he hates it.
Yeah. So I mean, I liked the franchise, even though I don't remember much of the middle 2 movies or books. I really like the characters, if you ask me. Yeah, I really like I actually really like the smaller characters. The werewolves, they had this werewolf that was like best friends with one of the vampires or something like that. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, but yeah.
Remember the fiasco with the guy who was gonna play Edward? Sorry, not Edward. Taylor Lautner was not supposed to be in the second film because he was too tiny. And then the fans are like really angry about it. Oh, that was great. That was a terrible time for movies. Okay, so the last movie we're gonna talk about in the franchise is Harry Potter. I like the Harry Potter series. I do. We're not gonna talk about it too much, so maybe about like 2 or 3 minutes. It's a good film. The films are good. The books are good. The characters are great. I can't tell it because I'm totally blinded by it. Because I have nothing but nostalgia goggles on for this film. So go rip it out.
I didn't read the books. Because when the books first came out, I wasn't allowed to read the books. I tried to read the books secretly, kind of fell asleep. At that time I wasn't a reader either, so it came out in a wrong period of time in my life, so I wasn't really exposed to it. The movies, however, I really enjoyed the movies. I just watched Chamber of Secrets again last night. I really liked it, but I'm just not a fan. I'm connected to some of the characters. I really love Hermione, I really love Ron, I really love the twins, the Weasley twins. I really love Luna Lovegood. At one period of time I actually liked Cho Chang.
Oh,
but
why?
I honestly, don't hate on me, I don't like Harry Potter.
Yeah, okay, no, it's totally understandable that you don't like him. I like him, but yeah, I can understand.
I don't like
He's kind
him.
of an asshole.
He is. You know, certain parts of the movie, I'm like, he doesn't have a brain. Like,
yeah.
I just don't like him. And
I love how stupid he is sometimes, though.
Oh god. Okay.
Blinded by nostalgia.
Yeah.
I had a huge crush on him.
Yeah, I did.
You can
okay?
tell.
I had a crush on him as well, but I had a crush on the actor. I didn't have a crush on the character.
Same. I still love Daniel Radcliffe, though.
Yeah, I love Daniel Radcliffe.
He's so down to
He's a
earth.
fantastic actor. But yeah, so I didn't.
Not in the first 3 films.
I didn't fantastically like Harry Potter. I really love Prisoner of Azkaban. That's one of my favorite Harry Potter movies.
I think Prisoner of
Ever.
Azkaban is my favorite.
Yeah, it's one of the best. I rewatch it again and again and again. The first 2 movies was okay. I really like watching them now because then you see them as young little children and then how they started. It was really nice. I didn't enjoy what was the other 2, Goblet of Fire and then Order of the Phoenix.
Let's rank your Harry Potter films. Go.
Azkaban.
From your least favorite to your favorite.
Oh, least favorite?
Yeah.
Least favorite. I'll probably say least favorite as in the most forgettable. Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, same. Okay, I'll leave mine later.
Goblet of Fire. I didn't like Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire. Chamber of Secrets. I don't really remember that until last night. Deathly Hallows Part 2. I don't really remember Part 2 except that they won. In the last part of Part 2.
Oh, spoiler alert.
And then I'll put Deathly Hallows as one movie. Okay. Both Part 1 and Part
sure.
2. Deathly Hallows, and then you have Sorcerer's Stone, and then Azkaban.
So mine is the first 2 Harry Potter films, followed by Order of Phoenix, then Deathly Hallows Part 1, then Goblet of Fire. Is it? Hang on, I've very lost. Oh yeah, Goblet of Fire, Deathly Hallows Part 2, and then Prisoner of Azkaban. So like, although like my least favorite are still I love them because nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna deny that. I love the characters, although I've always hated how they adapted Ron into the big screen and how they lessened his role in the films over, the books, and how they kind of made Hermione more important than she actually is in the book. She's still very important, but she's not. I kind of hate that they kind of leveled her up a little bit. But speaking of adaptations, let's talk about adaptations in films. So, do you think like a good adaptation is the same as being a faithful adaptation? Because a lot of people in like the young adult people who read the books, they hate the movies because they're not faithful to the book, which I think is kind of bullshit. Because a movie is a movie is a movie, as John Campbell would say it.
Yeah, I actually used to think that way because I used to be a young adult reader. I went into, I think, Twilight hating on the movie because there were a lot of important parts that I felt that they left out. Hunger Games, same thing. But then after a while, I realized that when the movie adaptation is so good that you forget the book, that makes it a good movie. I find I like it when I can tear myself from the book while watching the movie. Like, you go in with certain expectations, fine, and then you go in the movie and then you're just blown away with what they give you instead. I think that is what makes a good movie.
Yeah, and
Or
because
good book adaptation.
and like what pisses me off about people who complain about adaptations, and I totally understand why you want to see whatever you see on the whatever you read on the big screen, but one, it takes a lot of time to film even like 30 seconds of film, and it takes a lot of money as well. And I think a lot of people forget when they read Harry Potter, like they complain about, oh, why didn't they put this part in the book? It's like, you have to think about the pacing of the film. You only have 2 hours to 2.5 hours to tell a story, and if you just put everything inside everything from the book into the movie, then you don't have, good pacing. Because the book can tell, people seem to forget that half of the book, not half, but like a lot of the book in Harry Potter is about them complaining about how boring it is. The lessons are in Hogwarts, and I don't know why people seem to forget that. And like Hunger Games, and the other thing is that books, they can just describe it in a sentence, but movies, they have to show you, they have to build up, and they can't always just tell you.
Yeah, it's showing.
They can't always just tell you, because why your movie, just use all our senses besides smelling. Please don't do that, that's really gross. But like, have you heard of Spy Kids one, where you scratch the thing and you smell it? Yeah, that's gross. So you use music, you use sound, but you use sound, you use visuals to like tell your story instead of using words, and that's something that needs to be built up, and that takes more time away from whatever you want from the book. So I don't think that people should judge the movie based off the book, even though I kind of did that for The Martian. But come on, guys, like, I still like The Martian as a movie.
Yeah. So I guess it boils down to that. If you like, some people might not like the movie because it's not based off the book. But then again, I don't know. The book may not be that fantastic in the first place.
And even if it is, and the movie can't do it that way, the movie is still the movie, and your book will always be there.
Yeah. To me, it becomes very blindsided when you end up siding with the book, because everybody reads differently, everybody likes different things differently. Like, some people might like this part while you prefer the other part, so end up the people who created the movie may not think like you. So there are certain things that you have to think about. Like, okay, that's why one of the reasons why I'm starting to watch the movies first before reading the book.
Oh, I have to, because of Harry Potter, I'm kind of trained to read the book before I watch the movie.
Yeah, I tried to stop doing. I stopped doing that a while ago. Except for Gone Girl. Okay, that's one of the. I know that's not in the young adult section, but
it's not a young adult section at
not.
all.
But I was blindsided by the book. I love the book because it built up so much tension. They couldn't do that in the movies because it took like 150 pages, probably 120 pages for the climax to build, for the introduction in the book. So they couldn't do that in the movie. So I understood that, but I didn't really enjoy the movie.
You know what? Speaking about The Martian, like, I have a feeling reading the book also helped because I know the events that happen, and like, it's a damn long movie.
Yeah.
So like, you mark like the checkpoints off in your head. So it really helped the movie as well.
Yeah, and I like to think of movies as a good guide.
Yeah,
for the book, or vice versa.
Like, it introduced you to the book.
Yeah, like when I watched Warm Bodies, I didn't know that it was a book when I watched it. Then I went to get the book. I fell in love with the book so much more than I think I would have. Because then you have the characters in your mind, you have the action, so you can actually put that in your head. So that actually helped me. So I felt the movie was a good introduction to the book. It was a good guide as well. To teach you more, to tell you. I mean, for you to think of the themes in the book.
Actually, I feel like sometimes Harry Potter, if someone has never read or watched Harry Potter, I would tell them to watch the film first before they read the books, because there's a lot of descriptions in the Harry Potter books, but I think it's easier if you get if you kind of have an idea in your head. Obviously they change a lot of stuff, but it's still there and it helps a lot. Yeah, so how you rank the movies? All the young adult franchises that we talked about.
Divergent would be the bottom. Wow, this is tough. I don't know how to rank these, man. I only hate Divergent. The rest are good. The rest I like them. But if you're telling me impact wise, oh god, this is difficult.
Alright, I'll do mine first because I haven't watched Divergent yet. So mine would be Twilight, Maze Runner, Hunger Games, and then Harry Potter.
I will have to put Hunger Games and Maze Runner on the same par. I don't know how to separate those. We're talking movies, right? Just movies.
Yeah, just movies.
Then I would say Harry Potter, because Harry Potter has pretty legit movies. And then Twilight, because Twilight movies,
is in the last one. Your
Twilight,
least favorite?
No. Twilight is my second least favorite because I like the books. The movies didn't jump out.
Wait,
talking about
so
movies.
who's your first?
Okay, my first would be Hunger Games and Maze Runner.
Okay,
those are on par. Then Harry Potter because they're not bad movies. Twilight
because they're terrible
because
movies.
they're not great. Yeah, the portrayal of the characters were a bit The book, I like the books, but yeah, anyway. And then Divergent last because I didn't like the how the second Divergent went on. So
yeah. Okay. So moving on to movie news. Wow, this was a really long topic. Yeah. Let's go. So not a lot of movie news came out this week. I guess the Commissioner Gordon one played by Mariah Carey, but apparently that's not true. So we're gonna talk about Suicide Squad instead, which is gonna be rated PG-13. In an interview with Collider.com, Charles Roven, the producer of Suicide Squad, said that the movie will be borderline PG-13. Are you disappointed by it?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I watched. I mean, come on, have you watched the trailer? It's crazy gritty. It's like I expect so much.
I mean, we're not surprised.
More. I'm not surprised. Because it's in that category. It's just why I wanted more, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil Fantastic Four because no one watched that film.
I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, don't. I feel like 2 people watched it this week, and 2 people I know watched it this week, and they hated it. I hated it too. But someone said it got exploded off. So in Suicide Squad, someone said it's gonna get exploded off too, and that's PG-13. So I guess that's the borderline PG-13 right there. But I'm really disappointed because I want more blood in my Suicide Squad. And Suicide Squad, it's like a gangster of like, not evil, but like people who use violence and like, I want my blood.
Yeah, I watched the trailer and it actually reminded. Okay, it's a bit out of there, but it kind of reminded me of the first Expendables.
Yeah.
It had that tone. And Expendables, the first Expendables was not PG-13. It was bloody. You have like half a body flying off onto the wall. It was so good. Like I mean, you need that kind of tone for Suicide Squad.
Honestly, I understand why, because they obviously want more money. But you look at, I guess because you're not in the same caliber as Deadpool, but come on, you have like the Joker and Harley Quinn with you. I'm pretty sure like those are safe bets as well.
And one of the reasons why I think it's probably PG-13, you have Batman in it.
Yeah, so I'm very disappointed because come on, man, it's the Joker, it's Harley Quinn, it's the other people. Deadshot.
And to me, it shouldn't only be PG-13 because of the blood. I'm not really looking forward to
the
blood
themes
part.
as well.
It's the themes. It's the psychological aspect of these villains turn into, well, they're not really heroes, but villain versus villain thing. This whole psychological part, especially for Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, if you follow the animated series, how she came to be, she's a very psychotic character. There's a lot to her that we don't understand. So I wanted that part. I wanted her to go like crazy or something.
Although like, there was a good PG-13 film that came out this year, which was Mad Max. Mad Max was PG-13, right?
No, it was NC-16.
Oh,
violence.
Damn it. Okay, well, so much more for good.
Yeah, you're not gonna get Mad Max level of violence in Suicide Squad.
I want my violence, man. The director David Ayer, there you go, that's his name. David Ayer, he directs a lot of R-rated films. So it kind of sucks that this isn't R-rated, and like it's the same type of it's like, you know, super violent, that type of films.
Yeah.
So it's kind of disappointing that they kind of had to neuter him down like that.
Yeah.
But well, I'm still looking for. This is still my favorite. The film I'm looking forward to
but
next year.
I think DC is playing it
Safe.
because
Batman vs Superman is gonna make so much money. There's no need to play safe, guys.
Yeah, I mean true, but the thing is, I think they're playing it safe because Marvel still doesn't have a R-rated.
Deadpool kind
but
of is.
kinda, yeah, but Deadpool's it's under Fox, so I don't really consider that under. It is a Marvel character. It's under Fox. But yeah, so I think it's still too early for them to produce an R-rated, or probably to them it's too early. So that's probably one of the considerations. All right, shall we move on?
Alright, so speaking, well, that's not speaking. I like animation. Do you? I sure you do. So, the animated lineup for Paramount Animation Pictures have been revealed, and that is The Little Prince. I thought that came out already. Never mind.
No.
Monster Trucks, which is a hybrid of live action and CGI animation, opening in January of 2017. SpongeBob SquarePants 3
God no.
in February 2019. Amusement Park in March 22nd, 2019, and then finally Sherlock Gnomes, which is a sequel to Romeo and Juliet, which I kind of thought it was cute.
I like Romeo and Juliet.
I thought it was
with my
cute.
mom. We
Oh,
kinda
this is taken from Collider, by the way. So
credit to them. Okay. Are you looking forward to any of these? Honestly speaking.
no, but
Exactly.
yeah, okay. Sherlock Gnomes maybe.
Yeah,
Because
maybe, because
it sounds cute.
I like the concept of it.
It's cute.
It might be a bit overplayed, but
I mean, I'm
well.
pretty sure we're not the target audience for it. We'll probably not like it as much.
Yeah.
But you know, I like Goosebumps, and that was clearly meant for kids.
I didn't like it, so okay, let's skip everything and then talk about SpongeBob SquarePants, because we know, I mean, I know that you used to love SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't know if you still do, but
There were two things in my life when I was a kid: Harry Potter and SpongeBob. Maybe a little bit of Teen Titans.
There you go. So
I watched the second SpongeBob.
the recent one,
Yeah, this recent.
I didn't bother.
That was my first date. It was pretty terrible.
Oh my
It was a
god!
terrible, terrible, terrible movie. But like, it was
Not
very.
a movie you want to have on your first date.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah. By the way, do you watch it?
No, I didn't.
It was very trippy. It was a very trippy movie. The animation was really well done. It's really nice to see like 2D animation in theaters again, but it was not a good story, and was clearly meant for people who have very short attention span, because there's no coherent storyline. The 3D was done really well.
SpongeBob SquarePants,
Okay,
man.
aesthetically, everything about the SpongeBob movie was great. Even the 3D had the very 2D feel to it, and I was very impressed by that. I think Antonio Banderas was really funny in it. It was a terrible script, but you know, it's good to see a film where it stars voice actors instead of Hollywood stars, you know, do well on the box office. So
Yeah.
I'll probably watch SpongeBob 3 for nostalgia's sake, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to either. I watched the first one where they save the mermaid princess.
I love that one. I'm a goofy Gooba rock.
Yeah, okay,
I
I love
like
that part.
that song.
I love that part. That was like my theme song, man, for like the few months that after the movie came out. It was good. Okay, I mean, I liked it, nostalgia effect, but it was good to me when I was a kid. And then when I didn't rewatch it, but when I re-looked at like certain parts of it, I realized problem with SpongeBob is that it works better in 15 minutes than it does for an entire hour and a half.
I mean, it did its job as a kid.
As a kid, it's good, because as a kid, your attention span is it's not as long and stuff like that. You know, you don't look for much in a movie or in an animation. And then when I don't know, it's just probably maybe we've matured. I don't think it's that. I just think SpongeBob, I mean, I still watch SpongeBob on TV now.
Why?
Because it gets a bit stupid, yeah, sure.
It's terrible now.
It's terrible, fine. But you know, it still has little notes here and there that I really like. I realize I say notes a lot this episode, but yeah, so it has bits here and there. You still have the characters that you really like, but then in the movie it just pulls out too long. It's too much for an entire movie. It gets boring. It gets old.
Well, SpongeBob 3 is coming out either way. But whatever. So amusement park, a lot of people are looking forward to it, but that's because it's from the supervising animator of Ratatouille, Finding Nemo, and directing animator of Toy Story.
I really wanna.
But
I'm
do you
not-
know what else was directed by a Pixar veteran? John Carter. It was a
Oh.
terrible movie.
No, but you know what I'm more interested in? I'm more interested in the politics that brought what's his name? Dylan Brown. Yeah, that Dylan Brown had coming into this.
Money is the politics. I don't know.
I don't know, but I really want to see that story. I don't care what he's gonna produce. I just want to see that story.
Okay, speaking of childhood movies, we're gonna talk about The Little Mermaid live action, which is in the same vein as Snow White and the Huntsman, where it stars Chloe Grace Moretz as the Ariel character. What's her name? Ariel in the original. Well, it's not gonna follow the Disney
I
version.
don't think her name is Ariel. Okay.
I'm not looking forward to this film at all.
I am actually.
I mean, the visuals has to be like amazing.
yeah. Okay.
for me to believe
Number
it.
one, visuals has to be great. I'm looking forward to the visuals. Two, I really love Chloe Grace Moretz. She doesn't pick the best projects to do.
She never does.
She never does. But she's a
Good actor.
she's a decent actress, and I think she can go far. She's definitely better casting than having Kristen Stewart do Snow White. Honestly, that movie.
You know, there's a prequel coming up.
Oh God,
No, there is. There's a prequel coming up, and she's not in it, so don't worry.
Yay. But anyways, I like Snow White and the Huntsman. Everything else about it, except for the casting of Snow White, and that was the most important part of it. But anyways,
I thought she was okay.
she was horrible. Anyways, Chloe Grace Moretz, I love her. Little Mermaid, I love the original story.
I hate
dark.
how dark it is, but at the
It's
same
dark,
time, I love
yes.
it.
But every other story that you've ever watched on Disney is pretty much dark. In its original form.
But the visuals need to be good because everything takes place underwater.
Yeah. So
It has to be like gravity kind of good.
I'm looking forward to the visuals. Basically, I think they could do a good job with this.
Do you think the main character mermaid will die?
Yes, she'll turn into foam.
Aw,
No, actually, I'm looking forward to the part where
she dies.
her tail actually supposedly splits apart and then turn into legs, and then there's blood all over the sand. I know I'm sounding very sadistic right now, but that's the original story. And I really like original fairy tales. They're not as happily ever after as you think. Yeah.
Okay, so Little Mermaid, I'm okay. I feel like they need to stop touching on movies that are clearly only good when it's animated, because there's so many different things that you have to bring together, and they just won't mesh well if the visual effects aren't good. And like, let's face it, visual effects now, they don't exactly have it's not the right time to bring it out. You know, there's films like the new Jungle Book movie that's coming out that look
God,
amazing,
That looks good.
but like, how many studios can have that kind of budget and that kind of time to rent out those kind of amazing visual effects? So, you know, that's what I'm worried about.
Movies that are coming out this week. You have a Japanese comedy apparently called Bakuman. It's based on the true story of how the comic came to be. If you know the comic, I'm not familiar with the comic, but apparently
I tried reading it, but then I stopped. It's not that there's a bad comic. I mean, it's not that there's a bad manga. It's just I just stopped, and I haven't picked it up.
Expensive
since.
mangas are here. But anyway, apparently the acting's really good. The story flow is really good as well. So I might give it a try. I don't know Bakuman. So anyway, the 33, based on the true story of the 33 miners that got trapped. I don't know how many feet
Chile,
underground.
yeah.
In Chile, the Chilean miners. True story. So it might be quite chilling.
I'll probably
it.
watch it when it comes out in DVD or something. Wow, I can't believe you almost made a joke of a tragedy.
I'm sorry. This is okay. But
Okay.
anyways, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2.
We're gonna watch that. I
Yeah, we're
promise
gonna
you this
watch
time
that.
I'll watch it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna watch that. And the program based on also a true story of a cyclist a few cyclists.
Oh yeah, this
that
one.
took,
Oh my gosh, I
that
want to watch
took-
that too.
Yeah, that took enhancement drugs,
Mm.
and they did pretty well. And then this is basically how everything fell apart.
It's the Armstrong guy, right?
Yeah, yep, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So this is the episode we have. I'm sorry we went on for really long, but hey, we please end it off for me.
yeah, she's trying her best. Anyways, yeah, so that's it for this week. Sorry there wasn't much, because Jerry didn't watch Legend, but
Sorry.
It's cool because we managed to delve deep into the young adult franchises that,
And which we all grew up, no, as in both of us grew up on.
yeah, and which a lot of people are actually into now. So it's the genre of the century. But yeah, so that's it for this week.
Superhero movies are the genre now.
Yeah, superhero movies are coming
And
out.
young adult.
And young adults are still coming out. You have like Paper Towns and Fallen All Stars. Those aren't franchises, but those are movies. Okay. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.